Okay, the Drupal Association staffs welcomes you. So Julia Kranzler, our fearless director of philanthropy of communications, she leads mainly the program, and then Amit Kapilar, I'm the development manager, and I'm kind of teaming up with her to make the Ripple Maker shine. Um, I wanted to start first, but kind of more explaining the vision we have behind this program, which is the sustaining giving concept, as in, sustainable donors play an invaluable role in advancing our shared mission and impact. And Ripple Makers or individual membership always has been a sustaining donor club. We just want to elevate it more to be one inclusive, more communicative. We want to actually create a better culture of belonging where every donor feels valued and heard, empowered, and make a difference. And we treat this program basically as an unrestricted giving program, right? We take the funds, we designate them to where they are needed most just to keep the project going. And that allows us, of course, to allocate the resources there where needed most, supporting the overall health of the Drupal project. So now we dive directly into the Ripple Makers then to now. Oh, and then we skip to recap. As a first, any Ripple Maker in the room, thank you so much, of course, for your support as an individual member, and thank you for being part of the Drupal community. Yes, our goal is definitely to increase the communication and transparency with you and create more opportunities for you to get engaged mainly with the Drupal Association, strengthening the open web, and get more engaged in the community. And so hence, that's why we changed individual membership program to Ripple Makers, as in, you're the ripples, and the ripple effect comes in and continues spread the results of an event or an action. That's where we came in. Now we go to the recap. So formally, this program was called the individual membership. Anyone who wants to support the Drupal Association with their personal treasure. I know you always give code and time as well. Of course, anyone is included and so forth. Once you choose to support us with your funds as well, you would get that badge on your profile and so forth, testimony that you're supporting the DA in this concept. So the Ripple Makers, in general, community of passionate individuals committed to supporting the Drupal Association mission of driving innovation, adoption, high impact digital public good. We introduce tiers now. So those are based on the monthly support to prioritize more meaningful communications. And we are encouraging engagement as well through our newsletters, through our direct emails and webinars. We still guarantee voting rights for our community board elections because, of course, anyone, typically I'll back up. Individual members are the ones who also have voting rights. However, for you to vote, you of course don't need to pay. You will still get a complimentary membership and can participate in our community elections. And so far, since the change from individual membership to Ripple Makers, we published already 2 quarterly newsletters. And Julia was a guest on Talking Drupal podcast, so she probably talked your ear off that as well about the program. By the numbers, just FYI, we have roughly 1,700 Ripple Makers at any given time of the year. So as of March 6th, it was 1,702. I also added the spread of Ripple Makers around the world. It's not a secret. 65% are still in North America, Canada, US. Europe trailing behind with 27%, and then we have also seen a very substantial kind of a growing community in Asia, Australia, New Zealand, and South America. Overall, of course, our goal is to grow the number of Ripple Makers, the total number of Ripple Makers, but then we also want to grow the other pieces of the pie around the world to make it more even in a global community. Oh, and we're right into the discussion topics. So first is our ambassador video. If you've been to the community summit and probably some other summits as well, you've seen Faye's videos promoting and telling everybody why she is a Ripple Maker. I'm gonna put it out as well, play it for you. After the video, I would love to hear more your feedback of who do you want to see representing this program? Of course, we choose our board members because they are the closest, well, they are the closest to the mission and to the DA. However, we would love to select other community members to, to be the ambassadors. And then, of course, we would love to know what you want to see in these videos.
Hello, my name is Faye Loren. I'm here in Vancouver, BC, in Canada, and I work as a delivery manager for a company called Renaissance Electronics. They use Drupal as their CMS of choice. I'm also on the Drupal Association Board of Directors and one of the two community elected seats, and I am one of the Drupal Diversity and Inclusion Initiative leads. So as you can tell, I think about Drupal a lot. I spend a lot of time talking about Drupal, working with other Drupalists, and sometimes I have conversations with people who aren't familiar with open source, and they always ask the same questions. They're like, what do you mean you built a career on something that's free? And I sort of explain, I mean, at least for me, I think of it more like a gift. It's not free, it's something that has been gifted to me and to us by community members like me over the past 20 years, people who have put their time, energy, and resources into something that they believe should be readily available to anybody who wants to learn, anybody who wants to use it. 10 years later, I've been building my skills, building my career. I now have a great job and a comfortable life. And this is my opportunity, one of my opportunities to give back. So I do contribute my time. I work with the community doing community leadership things. I do sessions, but I'm also a ripple maker because my small monthly contribution is going to help the Drupal Association with their mission to create an impactful digital public good. So if you, like me, have a comfortable life and Drupal to thank for it, I invite you to join me and be a ripple maker.
So this was actually our second ambassador video. First one was made by Nikki Flores, our community board member as well. And both of the ambassador videos were, promotion of the program, explaining why our board members are actually ripple makers as well. So, I would love to know your feedback on these videos that we put together, whether or not they are the right tone or right messaging, of course, because we do want to grow the program, bring more ripple makers to the program. However, at some point, right, we will need to refresh these videos. So we would love your feedback on what do you want to see more.
Wait, does someone else bring this her hand or just me?
Just you.
Okay. After the Dries note today, we were watching the Dries note and they were talking about, they had like clips of people who had helped with Drupal CMS, and they had just asked people to send in videos. I can't remember exactly what it was about, but they kept going to like talking about, it was like Drupal certified partners who had helped contribute to Drupal CMS. Anyway, I was thinking perhaps we could get more videos like this, because that's a good video, but from like a wider audience of ripple makers where it's like more organic. They don't have to send it in, but we could get a campaign together of getting more voices from the community of why they're ripple makers, and then we can like share it out also, because Faye is like amazing, lovely, but she's on the board, but so she's like deeply involved, but like not all of us are all that involved and stuff. So I think that would be cool. I'd love to know more, get more videos like that. That's my thought.
I think that's a really good idea. I also think that maybe it would be helpful if the DAs thought about a program, sort of riffing on what you're talking about, a program that would reward community members, maybe with a little badge or something like that on their profile, if they recruit another ripple maker.
Oh, that's a great idea.
For to come in and make one of those monthly donations. That could drastically increase the number of people who are involved.
And we also want to work more with local camps as well and promote the program through there, as in hopefully at some point we would be also able to work hand in hand, as in not just in promotion of the program, but as in you're part of a certain camp, You're a make
my
maker as
camp
well?
would be happy to sign people up when they're registering at the beginning of the camp.
What camp is that?
My camp's DrupalCon, Colorado.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Greg is smiling over there. He's like, oh, I'm gonna do that too.
Yeah, Greg and I.
From Colorado.
Yeah, we've been at it for quite some time. I think this will be our 18th year.
But I do also want to, acknowledge that not that many people. Oftentimes, we get the comments of like, "Well, why do I have to become a big ripple maker to be part of the community and so forth?" So I do want to, of course, be conscious of that. That, it's not a. We want to grow the community, but I don't want to make it sound like anybody has to become a member just to be connected to a camp or to other
Yeah,
programs.
I don't think that would be the messaging. I
Okay.
think the messaging would be more around, it's if you can afford to do it, this camp's free, and helping the overall community is always good. Like we solicit donations, individual donations, and also agency donations to help support it and keep it free. But I think it would just be a nice complimentary message.
Yes, Lawrence.
You asked whether the video was setting the right tone. I'm not sure what tone you're hoping to set.
Oh.
I was thinking, my idea about that was like, Faye is so great, maybe I know her better, but in my mind I'm like, well, she's a board member, she's like very involved, so the tone I was thinking of was more relatable. I was like, is she relatable? Maybe, because she's already on the board. I'm happy she's a member, but.
Yeah, I mean, so I am both a member of the DA, have been for almost 2 decades now, I think, and I work at a membership organization.
Yeah.
That's and as I was just mentioning to Matthew, our annual meeting is next week, and we're going to have about 9,000 people there. And we're the American College of Physicians. We represent internal medicine physicians, really. So, like, yes, there are some people who join because they get a discount on some continuing medical education product that we provide, but the vast majority of people who participate do it because they feel a sense of community and prestige to be part of that community. And the dues are not cheap, including for early career physicians who are still paying off everything.
What are the dues?
They're in the, that's not my department,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't wanna, it's free for medical students, it's free or steeply discounted for residents, and we have a residency program where the residency program itself can buy membership for their whole slate of residents. And then there's like the individual membership, but then there's also the levels of individual membership that grow in prestige do not grow with, you don't get the more prestigious, you don't get promoted by paying more. You get promoted by advancing medicine in the practice in some way and then being recognized for that. So I think if the tone that we want to set with this video is like everyone can do everything, then it's doing a great job. If it's, hey, you may not have a lot of time, you may not have a lot of expertise, you may not be making, but there's always ways for you to contribute. You can work on documentation, you can work on, you can test patches, and you can be a ripple maker. Like, these are all ways that you can contribute in very little amounts of time. Then I think this would not particularly express that.
You know what? I keep forgetting that I'm in Northern America right now because that concept is wildly, say, everyday, second nature to us, as in, like, just support with what you can, make it sustainable, and don't expect anything in return. As you mentioned, right? There are members who always just become members because they want to, and they want to give back, and they want to support. We actually had our first Ripple Makers Roundtable at DrupalCon Barcelona last year. And of course, with the European audience, it's completely different. Philanthropy is still not as well known. So I guess that's why I'm always asking for, like, well, how do you feel? We're asking you here for money and for nothing in return. We won't give you anything in return other than, of course.
You do.
Well, we do, the communications and.
It's not just the communications, it's the fact that these events are put on each year, in multiple places. Lots and lots of Americans donate to public broadcasting. Lots of Americans donate to NPR, and they that's National Public Radio, and they would be getting that for free anyway. Most of them. The problem is that it's a small slice of listeners and viewers who do it. But there's a sort of general understanding that when you do that, you're helping a whole community have a different kind of media. And I think that's sort of the approach that the association has taken in the past in terms of memberships and should continue in the future, right? Like it's very important for us to know that our dollars are going to help support the things that are important to us, like being able to get together.
And so with that, would you also like to see more the impact of your donation, other than, of course, the kind of a
Oh yeah, I would
reporting,
love to
but.
do that. The other thing that I think would be interesting, and it's probably not part of the video, but it would be good to see what the breakdown is of the donations by Ripple level, so we've got a better sense of how that money is sort of
Distributed, yeah. No, that's a good point too. We can definitely do like impact videos. We do include the Ripple Makers stats in our annual report.
Okay.
But I think specifically video, as in like thanks to you, we were able to accomplish X, Y, and Z. Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We're not moving to. Oh, we'll see Faye again. There we go. Semi-annual webinars. That is a perk for Ripple Riders and above, which is Ripple Rider 20. I believe it's $25 a month or more. And so we are hosting semi-annual webinars. See, it's March, but it will be hosted in April. We are aiming for week of April 7th through 11th. We sent a save the date right now, and the first webinar will actually feature highlights from Atlanta. Tim Lennon will actually be there talking, and we want to know what other topics you want to know. What would be, yeah, what would be,
Topics are you doing now?
right now, this will be the first one. It will be Atlanta recap with Tim Lennon. However, we're certainly open to other topics, other interesting ideas, anything.
I think it would be interesting. Well, you showed us that pie and how we just talked about Europe. It's how it's the pie of membership is so small in Europe. One of them should kind of be maybe from North American members, kind of to promote membership to kind of the European, like the rest of the global community, about why North America finds it valuable. I know that's from us. I know you're talking about semi-annual webinars that the Drupal Association does, and that would be like bringing on some members, but that's definitely a spot where it looks like we need to like engage the European and global community a little bit more. It'd be interesting.
Which of course goes hand in hand with us growing the community around the globe.
Just anyway, yeah.
Anyway, with DrupalCon Asia, of course, and then South America being the new emerging market. But yeah, definitely give us a feedback on other topics you would ever want to see. Email us directly. Yes.
I mean, there was a big change recently in how long it takes for the automated tests to run. I think from like hours down to 10 minutes or something like that. And that feels like, I mean, I don't know how interesting that is to the audience, but to the extent, that's like a big change for developers, particularly core developers. And so to be able to say like, to your point, like you supported this thing that's changed and talk about a big impact coming out of it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's huge. I mean,
Yeah.
that's saving saving people who are contributing their time, huge amounts of time.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, you recognize it's but there's, does everybody? I'm just excited.
Most of us are nerds, I think.
Yeah.
And to add to that, I mean, I don't know how many people involved in the Drupal project understand like the testing infrastructure that exists
Yeah.
to even then improve upon. So that would, by highlighting the improvements to it, would be a way of being sure people understand how the level of intention that goes into being sure that the code is of a certain quality.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which then can also get into security team information and so forth. So it's a wedge in. And I think that like especially Drupal engineers generally are optimization oriented. So if it means squeezing performance out of something that already exists, I think that's a general interest.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I guess like more generally, maybe like what are the big wins from things that the association has launched or helped to support, and then being able to say like your funding helped us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. That's
So it's educational and like stewarding back what their contributions have been.
educational and community engaging. Exactly. And so with that, let's just move on right into the web newsletter. I'm sorry, because that's the same topic, right? What would you like to see there? Have you guys received the recent one? It came out just before DrupalCon. And let me actually, I have it open too. So,
So can you sign up for the newsletter?
yeah. Every Ripple maker receives actually the newsletter as well. So yes,
Request and above, right? So you have to at least donate a penny a month
yes,
in order to get it.
yes.
How do I become, just I came late, how do I become a Ripple maker? If I want.
I actually have a sign up code right at the end of the presentation as well. But yeah, or stop by at the DA booth. We will help you through it. You can sign up on the spot as well. Our website has the login as well. I'll send you all of this stuff. I just wanted to point out, yeah, there was the latest Ripple Maker. Just fly through it with, of course, Julia's and mine contact information. We mainly highlighted this session and our Ripple Makers breakfast event tomorrow morning as the top topic. Another one is on the digital badges because our badges still say individual members, so that will be flipped soon.
And are you going to flip it so it indicates like honorary, Riplet, rider, and all of that stuff?
Just the basic Ripple Maker.
Okay, yeah, that's good, because I don't think that we want to Ripple shame people.
Agreed. I love that word. And then, yes, we just announced the save the date for our first webinar, week of April 7th through 11th. And I see John in the back, of course, from Talking Drupal. In case you missed it, you can see the recording through the through the newsletter as well. So that's just what the quarterly newsletter, I mean, yeah, it was a quarterly newsletter we produced too. And yeah, we talked about what else do you want to see in there, so.
I like in the newsletter you could do that referral announcement kind of thing. Like somebody else stopped by our booth today and was talking about how to. Their idea was, let me see. No, they're not here. It was they would donate more money to their Ripple Maker membership, and it was a, what do you call it? It was a competition, not a competition when you're trying to get like matching. It was like, hey, I'm giving this month like $100. Who will match that with me? Like a big campaign. Those little types of things could be in the newsletter too, just to like get referrals, and so that people are always talking about their membership, just to say, oh, reminder, I'm a member who will join me, or hey, this month or this year I'm gonna give extra.
There's also a lot of employers will match your donation, and you should be like trumpeting that out, because you know, if even if somebody's just donating $12 a month, right? That's
It's 24.
$44, and that can get doubled.
Mhm.
And I think that I'm almost positive that the DA is already has that available, because my previous employer regularly doubled my donations. So I think you should be screaming about that.
That's true. Okay. That's all I had. Thank you, of course, for being a what time do we have?
Oh, it's
4:30.
4:36.
Oh, good. So we did not completely ran through this, but so yes, thank you so much for your time and for being Ripple Makers. If you want to sign up, it's right there.
You should also have some kind of campaign, I think, to remind people who are already Ripple makers. Maybe you want to just put two more bucks a month into your membership, right? And you could even rip off something from National Public Radio where they talk about it's less than a cup of coffee a month or whatever you want to do around that. But I think that having campaigns where you're encouraging people to add a buck or two to their monthly membership would be a good idea.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Does the donation have to be recurring? Because like I have an allowance from work for matching my donation. Like if I don't know, if I
Just for one time?
don't.
It could be one time or recurring. We have both options. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. That answers my question.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
Yes.
yeah, I run an agency, and if my agency becomes the Drupal certified partner, then still I can be a Ripple maker as well. Both?
That's completely separate. You can be a Ripple Maker and your agency can be a Drupal certified partner. And we want both. Lawrence, you wanted to mention something.
I had a couple of sort of unrelated
Okay.
follow-up questions.
Perfect.
I'm not sure if this is the right venue, but a couple of years ago in, I guess, Pittsburgh, we did like a little Shark Tank thing. And I had followed up, or I attempted to follow up with Tim Doyle a couple times because we have a similar, or I had some governance type concerns about the way that was run, given that there's money on the line. And I never heard back, and I followed up a couple times and never. Is that still a thing that's happening? Like, is there still a
The Pitchfork initiative was a one-time thing, right, Kelly? But we did introduce then other bounty programs after that. But we will connect you with Tim. If you want to stop by at the DA, we will snag him.
Well, I'm not trying to shame him for,
No.
for ghosting me. It's not like he would not be the first Tim big in Drupal to ghost me.
What? Tim Lennon did it too?
What? Oh, Tim Plunkett famously, like I tried to recruit him like a bajillion years ago before he was Tim Plunkett.
Wait, he changed his name?
No, but he was a college kid, not the 38% of Drupal 7 or whatever it was. So he was not that yet, but like we got into the interview process, and then he just kind of disappeared.
Wow.
And then a couple of years later, and because Philadelphia, and when he moved back, he was like, I owe you an apology. I said, it's fine. I'm
No.
just saying, like, I'm not trying to. That was a lot of words. I was mostly if there was that thing again, I still do have code that I could contribute to making it better.
There are still additional programs, and they pop up as the Drupal CMS evolution comes through. So I will connect you to Lenny Moskalik, our delivery manager, because she would be your point of contact.
The main thing would be if there's multiple rounds of review. There are like well-established protocols to follow. I mean, it's not that important, but when there's money on the line, you kind of try to dot your I's and cross your T's, so that if your reader happens to be an asshole, you don't necessarily lose out versus the person whose reader is a cream puff.
Gotcha.
So there are protocols to put in place for that.
No, of course, yes.
We have a little science fair for our medical students and residents, and we have 10, I think like 20,000 total participants, and it all leads up into the finals in person. Anybody who's going to be in New Orleans next week, you can come to our in-person finals, and it's all like every stage we manage, and that's in my wheelhouse. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, definitely. Do you guys have any questions, comments? Feel free to, of course, catch us at the booth. And I am definitely saying, if you need Tim Doyle, please let us know first. We will get him.
The point is, he didn't need me. That's fine.
Oh, that's not true.
That's fine.
He was probably like,
If it had happened again, and
Yeah.
there was like more money given out with this methodology that I felt was a little suspect,
Gotcha.
then I would be like, I tried to get your attention.
You said for any follow-ups that we can also email you, but, and I was just curious about your email address.
Oh, yeah. My email, my and Julia's. Let me actually pull out back to the email because both of us are right in the program, or both of us are at the Drupal Association. So, here, Yitka at Association.
That email pulled up, so I will look at it.
Yes,
Didn't see it, sorry.
no problem.